Participant can now see you on screen right now. How are you สวัสดีครับเป็นไงบ้างเป็นยังไงบ้างโอเคเดี๋ยวเราไปดูเอเซก่อนใช่ไหมผมส่งมาแล้วใช่ปะส่งมาแล้วยัง
อันนี้ได้ยินป่ะครับ
ได้ยินครับเดี๋ยวนะผมส่งในเรดาร์1ว่าเรดาร์2ที่เปิด2
ครับเสียงไม่ได้ยินเลยครับ
I'm sorry ได้ยินเสียงพี่ปะ Trigger มาแล้วยังฮัลโหล
ครับ
เดี๋ยวนะแป๊บหนึ่ง one two three go ได้ยินแล้วใช่ปะ
เดี๋ยวแป๊บนึงนะเดี๋ยวใส่หูฟังใหม่กันพอถอดแล้วมันได้ยินนะแต่พอใส่หูฟังแล้วมันไม่ได้ยิน
อ๋อแป๊บหนึ่งนะครับแต่ว่าเสียงอยู่ดังมากเลยอ่ะหมายถึงว่า ตอนนี้ไอกำลังใส่หูฟังเหมือนกันพี่ก็เลยไม่แน่ใจว่าเสียงชัดหรือเปล่านะครับแต่หูฟังมันก็น่าจะชัดขึ้นกว่าปะเดี๋ยวนะถ้าเรดาร์2เรดาร์1เรดาร์2เรดาร์1เรดาร์1ก็คือคอมเมนต์ไปแล้วใช่ปะครั้งที่แล้ว เรดาร์1เรดาร์2นะครับเนี่ยนะขอเช็คก่อนนะครับเรดาร์
โอเคครับเสียงมาแล้ว
นะครับเสียงเดี๋ยวฟังชัดใช่ไหมฟังชัดไหมไอชัวร์ต้องชัวร์ก่อนนะโอเค that's it วันนี้วันที่เท่าไหร่17ใช่ไหมโอเคเป็นไงบ้างได้เขียนไหมหรือว่ายังไม่ได้เขียนถ้าไม่ได้เขียนก็ต้องไป discuss นะมี2เวอร์ชัน
ยังไม่ได้เขียนเลยครับ
ไม่เป็นไรพี่เข้าใจได้เราน่าจะยุ่งไม่เป็นไรโอเคไม่เป็นไรงั้นต้อง discuss นะระหว่าง discuss กับฝึก practice listening อยู่จะเลือกอะไรดูส่งแล้วอันนี้ให้เลือก2 listening practice จะกินเวลาประมาณครึ่งชั่วโมงแต่ก็ต้องทำนะ listening นี่ไม่ได้ง่ายครับผม
ได้หมดครับ
discuss อยู่ต้องเลือกก่อน discuss มันได้ทำอยู่แล้วแต่เพียงว่าให้แบบว่า add เข้ามาเพื่อแบบ substitute comment writing เดี๋ยว comment writing เราไปทำพรุ่งนี้ก็ได้โอเคไหม
ครับ
งั้นพี่ขอ switch ไปทำ listening นะ Are you okay นะเพราะว่าไม่คือ listening มันlistening อย่าไปประมาทนะครับเพราะว่าเราต้องได้38เต็ม40อยู่ต้องได้38นะเรดาร์ถ้าอยู่ได้น้อยกว่า38เนี่ยไอไม่ appreciate เท่าไหร่นักนะครับเรียกว่ากดดันไปนะครับเท่าไหร่Lotus อะไรกันนะครับหรือว่าจะฟังCambridge ก็ได้ Cambridge ก็จะดูสุดกว่าCambridge ไหม Cambridge นี่ฟังหรือยังอันนี้ฟังยังครับ16 เทส3
เคยฟังครับ
เคยฟังแล้วงั้นเอาแบบ Lotus 1เลยแล้วกันเนาะดีไหม Lotus 1ก็ let's say ว่าถ้าเป็น Lotus 1แต่อยากให้ฝึก16นี่ไปหมดแล้วเหรอครับ
ไปหมดครับ
แสดงว่าเราเปิดหมดแล้วงั้นก็ต้องฟังที่เป็น IDP งั้นพี่ขอ random เป็นตัวนี้แล้วกันชอบตัวนี้โอเคนะแป๊บเดียวครับครึ่งชั่วโมงพี่sorry ถอดไมค์ออกละพี่จะให้ทำแค่คิวเดียวนะครับถ้าเสร็จรอบไหนอยู่ก็ไป recheck เองแล้วกันนะครับเดี๋ยวเราจะตัดมาทำเป็นspeaking อีกทีหนึ่งนะ alright I think shall we start practice together คลาสวันนี้43แล้วนะโอ้โหโหดมากโอเคแต่ว่าไม่เป็นไรครับแบน8ก็ต้องเรียนกันหนักนิดหนึ่งone two three go
Section 1. Louise wants to join a video library. You will hear a conversation between Louise and the owner of the video library. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Oh, hello. I'd like to join the video library.
Okay, would you like to fill in the application form now?
Yes, I can do it now.
Hold on and I'll get a form. Now, I'll just ask you a few questions and then I'll get you to sign at the bottom.
Right.
What's your full name?
Louise Cynthia Jones.
Jones.
Yes, that's right.
Louise's surname is Jones, so Jones has been written on the form. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully to the conversation and answer questions 1 to 5.
Oh, hello. I'd like to join the video library.
Okay, would you like to fill in the application form now?
Yes, I can do it now.
Hold on and I'll get a form. Now, I'll just ask you a few questions and then I'll get you to sign at the bottom.
Right.
What's your full name?
Louise Cynthia Jones.
Jones.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, and what's your address?
Apartment 1, 72 Black Street, Highbridge.
Black Street. That's just round the corner, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so the postcode is 2085, right?
Yes, 2085.
And your telephone number? I need both home and work.
Home is 9835-6712, and work is 9456-1309. Do you need any ID or anything like that?
Yes, we need your driver's license number. That is, if you have one.
Yes, I know it off by heart. It's an easy one. 2020BD. Do you need to see it?
Yes, I'm afraid I do.
Here.
Right, thanks. And could you tell me your date of birth, please?
25 July, 1977.
That's the most important part out of the way, but could I just ask you a few questions for a survey we're conducting?
Okay.
Before the conversation continues, you have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen carefully and answer questions 6 to 10.
What kind of videos do you prefer to watch? Have a look at this list.
Well, I love anything that makes me laugh. I just love to hear jokes and funny punchlines. I'm not very keen on Westerns, although my father likes them. But I'm a real softie, so anything with a bit of a love story is good for me. It doesn't matter how old. Not musicals, though. They're too much.
Anything else?
I'm completely taken by documentaries of the great outdoors. You know the sort, animals, plants, and faraway places. I saw a wonderful one on dolphins last week. It was amazing.
Now, I think that's all from me, except I need you to sign here on the line. Here's a pen. Oh, and I nearly forgot the membership fee. $25 refundable if you leave the library for any reason.
There you are. And do I sign here?
Yes, that's it. You can borrow videos now if you like, but your card won't be ready until next week. You can come and pick it up when you bring your first videos back. That is, if you want to take some now.
Yes, I'd like to. I'll have a look around.
Fine.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 2. Section 2. You will hear a radio interview about an expedition across the Atura Mountains. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 15.
Our dream came true in 1995 when, over 96 days of the spring and summer, an expedition of 4 men undertook what they believed to have been the first and only complete end-to-end crossing of Morocco's Atura Mountains. I talked to Charles Owen, the leader of the expedition group, about the trip. Charles, how much planning went on beforehand?
Well, as you know, I run these walking trips across the mountains for tourists. And over the years, I've collected maps and other data to prepare what I call a route book for this trip. And this book basically shows the route across the mountains that we took.
You actually broke records while you were out there, didn't you?
Yes, it was 900 miles in total, and we managed to climb 32 peaks that were over 3,000 meters high, including Tube Kar, which is, of course, the highest in North Africa. We weren't actually out to make a name for ourselves. It just happened, really.
What was the weather like?
Oh, it got us right from day one. And we were pretty taken aback, really, to find that it rained on quite a number of days. And so we were forced to start replanning our route almost from the outset. One of the obvious problems is the heavy snow which blocks the mountain passes. So you have to make considerable detours. When we were on the way to Ielts, for example, the snow forced us into a northern bypass, which was new to us. But anyway, either way, we would have been rewarded because, well, we fell upon amazing high meadows, huge gorges, and wonderful snow-capped mountains. The scenery was as fine as any we saw on the trip, and that was how it was every time. Having to take another pass was never a disappointment.
You now have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 16 to 20.
It was in many ways a social trip, wasn't it?
Yes. We'd arranged to meet up with friends at various points on the journey. I mean, this was actually one of the purposes of the trip. And we managed to keep all these dates, which, well, it's amazing, really, considering the detours we made. An old friend acted as a sort of transport organizer for everyone, and the Hotel Ali in Marrakesh was a good social base. I'd really recommend it, although I can't remember who runs it. Anyway, groups of friends actually joined us for 3-week stints, and others just linked up with us. Some, whom we hadn't met before the trip at all, tagged on for short bursts, people from the area who just came along for the ride. But outside the major visitor areas like Tube Kar, we only met one other group of travelers like ourselves in the whole 96 days.
Were there any bad moments?
Well, we took two, I must say, long-suffering donkeys with us to help transport water and tents and things. I suppose if we were to do it all again, we'd probably hire donkeys along the way. Taza and Tamri, as we called them, after the last places in the trip, well, they made quite a unique journey between them. But it was continuously demanding for them. On both the really high summits, they took diversions that were quite out of character, and I can only assume that it must have been due to tiredness.
Well, thank you. And Charles has put together a video about this journey and continues to lead groups to the Atora Mountains. So if you want further information...
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 3. Section 3. You will hear two new students, Jane and Tim, talking about their university studies. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully to the discussion and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hi, Tim!
Jane!
How are you?
Fine.
I've been wondering when I'd run into you. Have you been here long?
I arrived yesterday, on Sunday. How about you?
I got here a few days ago, on Saturday. No, wait a minute. What's today? Sorry, Friday, not Saturday.
But we didn't have to be here till today.
Yes, I know. But I wanted to get my things moved into my room and just take a look around. So, did you decide to do English in the end?
No, I changed my mind and opted for history instead.
Oh.
And you're doing biology, if I remember correctly.
Yes, although to start with, I couldn't decide between that and geography.
How much reading have you got? I was given an amazingly long list of books to read. See?
Wow, it does look pretty long.
Well, I counted 57. I could hardly believe it. What's your list like?
Well, it's not as long as yours, but it's still pretty big. There are 43. I don't know how I'm going to get through them all.
Well, you don't have to read them all this week. You just have to stay ahead of the lectures and seminars. Have you got your class schedule yet?
Yep, it came with a reading list. When's your first lecture?
Tuesday. How about you?
The day after. It's my busiest day. I've got 2 lectures in the morning and 1 in the afternoon.
Before the discussion continues, you have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen carefully and answer questions 26 to 30.
It's going to be different from school, isn't it?
Yeah, particularly the lectures. Have you got any special strategy for listening to lectures?
Well, I'm going to use a cassette recorder and record them all.
What? Are you allowed to?
Sure, lots of people do it nowadays. It means you can listen to the lectures all over again later and make really good notes.
I couldn't do that. I like to take notes as I'm listening. I usually find I get all the important points. Reading is different, of course. My approach is to skim the book first to see what's important and what isn't. Saves hours of time.
But what if you miss something?
You don't mean you're going to read every word, do you?
Well, that's what I usually do.
Well, that's up to you, but I think you're crazy.
Oh. What's your first lecture on, anyway?
Oh, it's a lecture on the French Revolution.
The French Revolution? How boring.
Oh, it's not boring at all. It was an amazing period of history. It changed everything in Europe. So what's your first lecture about?
It's about animal behaviour. It sounds really interesting.
Look, I was on my way to the library. I'm going to get some of these books out and start reading for the first essay I've got to write.
And what have you got to write about?
No, you'll never believe it. I think our professor must have a sense of humour. He's given us the title, Why Study History?
That's a good one. When you find the answer, let me know.
I'm going to enjoy writing it. Have you been given any writing assignments yet?
Yes, I've got to write about animal language.
That sounds a challenge.
Mm.
I suppose you'll be off to the zoo to do field research.
That is the end of section 3. You will now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4. Section 4. You will hear a lecture being given to school leavers on the jobs people can get in sport and the training programs available to prepare for those jobs. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully to the lecture and answer questions 31 to 40.
Welcome to Further Education Information Week. This is the Physical Education Faculty session, and I'm the head of the faculty. During the course of this morning, we hope to give you a clear idea of what we offer in our training programs, and we will look at the types of courses and the entry requirements, if any, for those courses. Some of these courses are open to school leavers, but for some, you need previous qualifications or relevant successful employment. So, firstly, the Physical Fitness Instructors course is offered as a 6-month certificate course, which includes an important component of personal fitness, but there are no specific entry requirements. For sports administrators, we provide a 4-month certificate course, but you should be aware that this is designed for those who are in employment. This employment must be current and related to sports administration. For the sports psychologist course, we offer a 1-year diploma course, but this diploma course is available only to those who already hold a degree in psychology. So you need to make sure you have that before you apply to do this course. Now, for physical education teachers, we offer a 4-year degree in education. This degree course is designed for preparing students to teach in primary and secondary schools and needs no prior qualifications, as it is entered directly by school leavers. And lastly, for the recreation officers course, we offer a 6-month certificate. Entry to this course normally includes applicants of a wide range of ages and experiences, but we do not insist on any prerequisites for this course. Remember that this is a vocational training institute. We train you so that you can take up a particular kind of job. So it is important that you know the main roles of the jobs, what the work is like, and what kind of qualities you need to succeed at them. A physical fitness instructor works in health and fitness centres, preparing individual programs for ordinary members of the public. Physical fitness instructors prepare routines of exercises to suit the individual client's age and level of fitness. Sports administrators run clubs and sporting associations. Their duties include such things as booking playing fields with local councils and organising the schedule of games or events for the club. So they need good organisational skills. Sports psychologists spend time with professional athletes, helping them approach competition with a positive mental attitude to enable them to achieve their personal best. They do this by improving motivation and concentration, or assisting with stress management. Physical education, or PE teachers, instruct young students in how to exercise, play sport, and do other recreational activities correctly and safely. PE teachers help the development of coordination, balance, posture, and flexibility, with things like simple catching and throwing skills. They are not expected to be experts in all sports, but must be able to show students the basic techniques involved in a wide range of activities. Recreation officers often find themselves working for local government authorities and local groups. Their aim is to raise people's awareness of healthy lifestyles and improve general fitness through arranging recreational activities for groups of all ages, from the very young to the elderly. There are many other job opportunities which our graduates can look forward to. If you're interested in any of these, then I suggest...
That is the end of section 4. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
เป็นไงบ้างทันไหม
ถ้าพาร์ทแรกๆง่ายอยู่ครับพาร์ท1 2ประมาณนั้นนะครับ
ทำไมมันเฉลยดูแบบดูยากมากเลยอ่ะ ก็คือ
แล้วแบบไอ้พวก
ข้อไหนที่ไม่ได้3-4ป่ะเพราะว่าไอรู้สึกว่า3-4มันหรือว่าไม่หรือว่าแล้วแต่ว่า3-4มันก็จะแบบ challenging อยู่แล้วมันจะเร็วกว่าปกติใช่ป่ะนะครับ
หลังๆเขาพูดเร็วอยู่ครับ
เสร็จลองเช็คสกอร์ก่อนนะครับเช็คเล่นๆก่อนก็ได้ให้ถึงเลข3ต้องนำหน้านะเพราะฉะนั้นมันจะเป็นแบบpractice ภายในครึ่งชั่วโมงเฉยๆถ้าเสร็จแล้วบอกนะครับจะได้ count score ให้โอเคDon't worry, be happy. รันติดหมอไปแล้ว1 คนดีใจด้วยอ่ะ Ielts 6.0 ก็โอเคเนาะติดก็ดีละต้องมาบอกว่าติดไปแล้วศิริราชเลยเหรอโอ้เก่งจัง โ เป็นไงได้คะแนนไหม
เดี๋ยวแป๊บนึงครับแป๊บนึง
โอเคโอเค
โอเคครับ
เป็นไงบ้างแฮปปี้นะครับหลุดหลุดพาร์ทไหนมากที่สุดครับพาร์ทแรกเป็นไงผ่าน
พาร์ทแรกมันไม่ยากขนาดนั้นครับแต่ว่า
ได้เต็มไหมได้เต็มไหม
เต็มครับเต็มแต่ว่าบางทีก็มีหลุดนะครับ
เลขที่ออกต้องเต็ม ไม่คือเลขมันมี3เลขคือ8 9 10นะครับเลขเซเป็นอย่างนั้นพี่กดดันเรามากไปแล้วเนี่ยโอเคพาร์ท2แล้วครับพาร์ท2จะยากนิดหน่อยไอคิดว่าเป็นไงโอเคปะ
พาร์ทสองครับข้อ10บอกว่าไม่รู้จะตอบอะไรดีครับ next week in a week แล้วเนี่ยครับ
แต่ว่าก็พอ handle ได้อยู่นะข้อสอบทรงนี้แต่ข้อสอบจริงมันคล้ายกับ Cambridge ไงแต่ว่าเราแค่ challenge listening skill ให้มันดูแบบเพราะว่าใน real world conversation มันจะเป็นแบบนั้นนะฮะใช่ไหมอยู่น่าจะเข้าใจโอเคนะไม่มีปัญหานะครับพาร์ท2พาร์ท3เลยอยู่พาร์ท
พาร์ท
3
สาม
จะยากนะเมื่อกี้
มันก็มีแบบว่าวนงงอยู่ครับ
ใช่ไหมพาร์ท 3มัน
มันเร็ว
ไล
อะ
ฟ์มัน
ว่า
ไล
เร็ว
ฟ์
อยู่
มากกว่าใช่มันเป็นการคุยที่แบบคุยเหมือนเพื่อนไปอ่ะมันไม่ใช่ exam practice ในมุมไอเข้าใจฟิลปะเพราะexam practice มันจะควบคุม control pace ในการพูดให้มันเคลียร์กว่านี้ถูกไหมถ้าเกิดว่าเราไปเช็คจาก Cambridge เนี่ยเราจะเห็นว่ามันค่อนข้างที่จะlet's say ว่ามันตรงกว่านี้กันนะครับพาร์ท4เป็น favor ของยูไม่ใช่เหรอยูเก่งไม่ใช่เหรอพาร์ท4
ใช่ชอบพาร์ทสี่ครับ
พาร์ท4คือเต็มใช่ไหม
พาร์ท1พาร์ทสี่ผมว่า
ได้เต็ม
โอเคครับแต่ว่าพาร์ท2 3มันมักจะ
ไม่เป็น
ยา
ไร
ก
มันก็หลุดกันได้อยู่ละนะครับเอาอย่างนี้เพราะฉะนั้นเราก็ต้องเวทพี่กำลังจะบอกว่าเวทstrength กับ weakness ด้วยกันสำหรับตัวพี่ตอนที่ทำข้อสอบเนี่ยพาร์ท2จะยากสุดในมุมไอนะเพราะว่าถ้าเกิดว่าเป็นทรง academic two conversation หรือว่า two speaker คุยกันพาร์ท3เนี่ยมันจะยากตรงที่ exam practice แต่ว่าเราฟัง catch ได้หมดเลยนะครับแต่พาร์ท2มันเหมือนแบบบางครั้ง direction หรือว่าอะไรก็ตามแต่ที่มันเวทให้เราเลือกเนี่ยมันจะยากหน่อยหนึ่งส่วนพาร์ท4เนี่ยจะเน้นในเรื่องของ spelling แต่ว่าถ้า practice เกิน5 ครั้งเนี่ยมันจะจับเทรนด์ได้ว่าต้อง concern อะไรบ้างนะครับก็คือการแก้ปัญหาคือให้ลองเช็คช่วงที่เขาบอกว่า you have some time to check your answer อันนั้นสำคัญมากนะครับเป็นการเช็ค spelling หมดเลย that's it เพราะฉะนั้นสำหรับเรดาร์คิดว่า1-4เก็บเต็มแล้วกันเนาะนะฮะไม่มีเลขอื่นครับเต็ม10ที่เหลือค่อยไปลุ้นโอเคป่ะ โอเคไหมประมาณนี้เนาะล็อกไว้นะครับเพราะว่าแบบต้องเป็นที่1ไงถึงจะได้8ไม่งั้นไม่ได้ไปอเมริกานะครับโอเคจบปิดจ็อบไปครับสำหรับI think it's enough for listening skill right you can feel free to check again นะ if you have time that's all แต่ว่าไม่ชอบการเฉลยของเขาดูแน่นๆไปไม่โอเคเขาน่าจะทำเป็นข้อใหม่มันดูเหมือนแบบ
มันดูไม่รู้เรื่อง
มันดูไม่รู้เรื่องใช่มันดูเหมือนแบบเหมือน copy paste อยู่เข้าใจป่ะมันไม่ได้แบบว่า arrange ดีๆนะฮะไม่เป็นไรตัดมาที่ speaking ก่อนแล้วกันนะครับถึงคิวยูละ alright อันนี้เสียงทางฟังก์ชันนะเสียบหูฟังนะครับokay so for this speaking topic right I just wanna let's say เดี๋ยวพี่ไปส่งสักครู่นะมีคนโทรหา urgent นิดหน่อยไม่เป็นไรครับก็ต้องมีสายบ้างนะครับเป็นคนนะครับ ถ้าไม่มีสายเข้าเลยแสดงว่าอยู่เป็นคนไหมเป็นรูปปั้นนั่นเองนะครับ alright แป๊บหนึ่งนะเรดาร์วันนี้พี่ๆแบบคือสอนอินเตอร์เหนื่อยมากเพราะว่ามันแบบมันไฟกันซะเหลือเกินนะครับ อินเตอร์มสวเหมือนอินเตอร์จุฬาเลยอะตอนเนี้ยแบบมันไม่ยอมคนอะเราคิดว่าน่าจะง่ายๆที่ไหนได้โห energy หายไปเยอะพอสมควรหมายถึงว่าพอเราสั่งให้ทำ writing อะไรอย่างเงี้ยก็คือ critical thinking จะเยอะแล้วเขาก็มี question เยอะเพราะว่าพี่ต้องสอนcreative writing ซึ่งเป็นตัวที่แบบพอพูดถึงคำว่า creative ปุ๊บมันยากทั้งคนสอนแล้วก็ คนเรียนอยู่เข้าใจปะเหมือนถ้าเป็น Ielts เนี่ยมันจะ fix pattern ถูกไหมครับเราแค่แบบโน่นนี่นั่นไปแต่ว่าถ้าเกิดว่าเป็น creative เนี่ยมันแล้วแต่ aspect อีกทีหนึ่งนะครับthat's all ไม่มีอะไรก็ไปสู้รบปรบมือนิดหนึ่ง okay so for this question right I think
อันนี้เหมือนเขียนไปแล้วป่ะครับผมเคย
พูดไป
เขียน
แล้ว
ไป
เหร
แล้
อ
ว
government
นี้เคย
support artists writer painters
เค
เขียน
ย
ไป
เขี
แล้
ยน
ว
ใน
ด้วย
ในเอเซ่ครับถ้าทำไม่ผิดนะครับ
เคยเขียนไปแล้วอยู่ลองเช็คครับเพราะไอจำไม่ได้อันนี้เป็นท็อปิกใหม่ของคลาส7นะครับ1 2อันนี้เขียนไปหรือยัง มันยังไม่ได้เอาอย่างนี้ไม่ต้องนับการเขียนให้เราตัดมาเป็น speaking ได้ไหมอยู่ discuss ใหม่ได้ปะ
ได้ครับ
โอเคหมายถึงว่าถ้าเขียนแล้วอยู่จะจำได้เพราะว่าอยู่เขียนแต่ว่าคือเดี๋ยวพี่จะจำไม่ได้นะครับต้องขอโทษด้วย เซลล์สมองไม่ทำงานคือการจำเนี่ยเพราะว่าพี่แบบจัดงานเยอะเพราะฉะนั้นมันจะปวดหัวนิดนึงไม่เป็นไรถ้าอยู่จำได้อยู่ก็ skip ไปเลยนะฮะแต่ว่าอันนี้ floor speaking ไม่เป็นไรก็คือ discuss กันไป alright so shall we start for the first question here should government support artists such as musicians, writers, and painters? Is it economically beneficial or it is just a waste of money? Why not here?
I don't think it's a waste of money, but instead the government should support these artists and musicians or painters like by providing funding to them, like because these careers can help the country to earn more popularity and money. Like for example, K-pop music, it's quite popular, so which is related to music as well. So it's kind of art that is very important for us to attract more and more foreign people to be attracted to our country, like our own K-pop company, like, or our release of the popular music, like I mean Thai music, these attracts more and more tourists to know more about us.
So I can remember that you just mentioned about Lisa, right? Okay, I can understand that you just said that it's all about like you wrote this kind of essay already. Good, that's okay. Okay, I think to me, why not, right? I think it is important that the government should support artists, musicians, or writers, or even painters here, just because it's all about like a combination that drive economic successfully. To me, I think that the government, not just only like the perspective of the value of society, but I think that it's all about like it can be one of the most interesting factors that can contribute or drive success of economy in particular country. For instance, in Thailand, we can see like if we put any lots of I mean like a support or even take it in important thing as the first priority or even equal to just kind of important aspect, for example, like medical or education, things like that, it would be great. And we can see like from other Western country, it is possible that artists can contribute and can show that their lifestyle that is influence to what people believe or even like drive a trend to be successful too. So this is kind of like a value or stereotype that those people who just plays as important role in this kind of like artist industry can be a leader for this kind of mainstream. That's it. งงนะครับยิ่งงงไปเลยนะครับวันนี้แบบงงมากเลยของมันวะอะไรเงี้ยนะฮะแต่ว่าพูดอาร์ตก็ต้องแบบเป็นแนว artist นิดหนึ่ง and then next question for you every person is essential to the development of a country. Talk about what do you think is your role to development of a country as a part of the development of the country, your specific reason and examples to support your own opinion here.
อันนี้
งงปะ
อันนี้มันน่าจะมีหลายส่วนนะครับพัฒนาประเทศมันเยอะมากเลยครับ
You ต้อง differentiate ว่าwhat do you think like you can be a part of it that is the most important thing that you can be involved with หมายถึงว่าต้องดึงมา aspect หนึ่งแล้วใส่ว่าเป็น education ก็ได้ว่าเราจะยังไงบ้างอะไรเงี้ยหรือไม่ก็แบบแล้วแต่
I think one of the career that or one of the job that you can partially take place like that you can join in is to be a teacher. So one thing, this job is the most important job I've ever thought because firstly in this modern era like there are lots and lots of technologies like AI or artificial intelligence which takes place like lots of careers like laborers or workers, all of them like most of them are unemployed, but one of the job that cannot be replaced is teacher. And why is it important? So just to explain is like a teacher, their duty is to give lessons to their students. It's to give knowledge and theories. It's to teach them to gain more and more knowledge to be working in any particular job. Like for example, if our countries wants to be developed, it should be driven by technologies like when this is associated with engineering or medical institutions. Yeah, so even doctors or engineers, they are taught they have been taught by a teacher before. Yeah, so this job is the most significant job to provide people experience.
Yeah, I think so. So this I do agree with the aspect of education here. So what about like technology or even like creativity or something changed from time to time just because we have to rely on lots of technology, especially computer or even internet here. Do you think as a part of partially responsible for that, which part that we can get involved with this kind of like development of technology?
I think it should be like you can be an engineer, like an engineer who creates the medical technology, like for example creating our own brands of COVID-19 vaccines. Like because for example in America, in this country, this is the developing country because and also this country earns a lot of money from selling their own vaccines, which is Pfizer and Moderna. Yeah,
Mhm.
because they created their own innovation of medical technology, and they just try to distribute these vaccines to every country. So that's one of the main factor that makes them grow up and develop. Yeah. So
I see.
if our country can do that, I think it's going to be great.
All right, I think so. That's great. Uh-huh. That's it. move แล้วกันนะ โอเคนะครับเพราะว่าไอก็ไม่รู้เหมือนกันนะครับว่าจะ clarify เพิ่มยังไง alright going to next question here ทำไมรู้สึกว่า passion radar drop ลงไปทำอะไรมาครับหมายถึงว่าหรือว่างานยุ่งช่วงนี้เปิดเทอมสอบหรือว่าอะไรครับ
ออกกำลังกายเยอะนะครับ
เอ้ยจริงป่ะ
ครับ
can you explain a bit just because how is the different I mean I just want to hear from you the differentiation between go or head to the gym or even just like stay home and then you're just doing gym at your home do you think it is a big difference or is the same in your opinion here
เล่นยิมอยู่บ้านกับไปยิมที่ยิมจ
ใช่
ริง
ใช่
ๆ
เพราะว่ายูก็ไปจิมที่จิมมาแล้วถูกไหมเคยไปปะเคยไปเนี่ยใช่ไหม
เคยไปครับ
And what is the big differences? I just want to hear from you just because right now we have to say that we have to stay home and everything or all kinds of activity that we can do must be let's say committed to staying at home. Is that right? So do you think I would say that you really committed staying at home? I mean I can feel that you even not going out even I'm kind of like I'm wondering a bit that it's not boring, right, to stay just only at home or else yeah
Yeah, it's a bit boring, but to make a difference between hitting a real gym and just staying home and lifting weights or doing an exercise, yeah, there's few difference between that. One thing is when you go to the gym, one thing that you will see is that you will meet lots and lots of people, and it's pretty annoying because when you use some machines, like but if those machines are already occupied with someone, it's pretty annoying to just wait for a long time and then just monitor what they're doing and when they are going to finish using that machine. So that's and the disadvantage is that you will lose your activation to to grow your muscle, because if you take too long to have a rest, the activation level of growing your muscle will be lower, and that's going to be an effective workout. But in the other hand, if you do an exercise or if you work out like lifting weights at home, so yeah, actually you will definitely work out alone, so no one is going to disrupt you or no one is going to take your gym equipment to use, so you can use it as much as you want. And it's and it's also private.
All right. So you mean that you got equipment at your home, or you have to go for the a center that can facilitate this kind of equipment? Do you understand? I mean, like for example, like you're staying at home, you just bought some kind of machines or equipment at your home, or you have to go to the let's say ส่วนกลาง right? I can say like for some facility that housing community can provide it for. Yeah.
It depends on the day, and it also depends on what parts of muscle I train. Like for example, if I train chest, my shoulders, or like my pecs, my delts and some part of my muscle. So like if I train chest, I don't need to go to the center, because as like as I know, I have a few equipments. I just have two
Got it.
dumbbells, and yeah, but actually I can use those two dumbbells to train my chest. But
Mhm.
in the other day, if I train other muscles which are not chest, like, and I will have a rest day for chest day, and then in some days if I train back or if I train legs, I need to go to the center because I don't have the machine to train my legs, like leg extension. Yeah. And I cannot use only two dumbbells to train my legs because it's too light. It's not heavy enough. So that s- yeah, it's not going to
So
be
let's say like
effective workouts.
it depends on how, I mean, the area of you would like to train. For example, like if you train chest, so meaning that you don't have to go out anymore just because you have some field of equipment that you can practice or train your muscle by your own at your home. Am I correct? Is that right? Okay. So for some part of it, you have to go out a bit just because this kind of equipment might not be suitable to train things like that, right? I understand that just because I read some kind of like information a bit with weight lifting can deal everything. Is that right? So to those people who are skinny like me, and consider myself, I'm not really, I can consider myself I'm skinny. So to those people who skinny can train their muscle and become a good physique later on, right? And to those people who overweight, for example, like overweight or become a little bit obesity, things like that, so they can lose their weight with weight training too, right? Is that right? And can you explain for more between the two between the two groups of people who want to get in shape? Just because let's say like for a fitness center, I can see like lots of people may want to lose their weight, but for some male or some boys or teenagers, they're gonna get some muscle just because it want to get into shape, things like that. So can you explain the first group first? In order to make sure that we can lose weight, weight training or weight lifting here can help in this kind of group people or not?
ก็คือก็ทำความแตกต่างระหว่างคนผอมกับคนอ้วนใช่ไหมครับ
ใช่ใช่ใช่
there are lots of things that I want to say, like between these two groups of people. For the first group of people is skinny people, and then the second group of people is people who suffer obesity, or some people whose weight is too much. So what I would say is, if even though I am not a trainer, but I have trained it for like 3 or 4 years, as far as I know, is even though you want to increase the size of your muscle, or even though you want to lose your weight, one of the exercise that I always recommend is to lifting weights, because there is a controversy between these two groups all the time, like or some fat people, some people whose weight is like it's pretty high, or whose BMI is pretty high. They always argue that they want to do only cardio, because they believe, and they have this kind of stereotype that if they keep doing a cardio, like doing a cycling or running or sprinting on the treadmill, they're gonna lose weight effectively. But there is more solution to lose weight more effectively, which is you need to these fat people should also major in working out, like lifting weights. They should they should do a weight training as well, and then do a cardio for additional training session. I think that's going to be more effective. So one of the reason that I said that, because this is the scientific report, and most of the scientists have carried on this kind of research, and they reported that if you like they report that if you have more and more muscles, one thing that will happen to your body is that your metabolism rate will be increased, and that means you are going to lose more and more weight easier. So, and also a if your metabolism rate increases, it's is a signal that you will be able to lose weight quicker and quicker, and yeah, and the result is going to better and better. And also the skinny people,
Yeah.
they believe that they should weight training. Yeah, that's right. To gain more muscles, but they always ignore to do a cardio because they think that they have the percentage of, like, they think that they have low percentage of their body fat, but actually there's the need to do a cardio, but the intensity of doing a cardio shouldn't be equal to what fat people do, because those people have lots of body fat. But skinny people should do a cardio as well, because to prevent from to prevent from getting fatter from eating more and more calories, or in the scientific term we call it like caloric surplus. Because if these people want to grow more muscle, not only train hard, but they should eat more and more and more. Yeah, they should eat more calories, more than the caloric maintenance that they should intake per day. So, and there is a high possibility of eating a caloric surplus than getting fatter. So that's why they should do a cardio additionally to prevent from getting fatter as well. Yeah.
I see your point. So one more questions. Okay. I understand that home gym is kind of like widespread or common during this time. Home gym, right? So it is important to buy such let's say home gym equipment in order to train everything in just single place here. How and why?
ก็คือมันจำเป็นหรือต้องซื้อ
จำเป็นไหมทั้งแบบ
ใช่ครับ
เพราะเดี๋ยวนี้มันต้องแบบอยู่บ้านแล้วไง อันนี้ถามไว้เฉยเพราะว่าแพลนที่จะซื้อมาวางไว้เหมือนกันจะได้ไม่ต้องออกไปละ
I
แต่
think
แต่ว่า
it's
เป็น full option I just say that like but it's all about like equipment that can let's say like one place one stop service, meaning that you can do everything, let's say a cardio or even weightlifting, weight gaining, things like that, everything is okay. Yeah.
it depends on how much budget you have. Like, if you have a low budget, I recommend only buying a resistance band and also dumbbells, yeah, like 10 or 20 kilos. I think that's enough. But if you have a high budget, but so I recommend you to, I don't recommend it if you have a high budget. I don't recommend you to buy every equipment, but I recommend you to buy just one machine which contains a full option of equipment. Like like what I mean by that is I cannot remember exactly what is the name of this machine, but this machine, if you just it's a big machine, but and the price is, I think the price is reasonable and it is affordable for lots of people as well. It's just a one machine, but what you can optimize this machine is that you can train your chest, your legs, and also you can do a pull-up because there is a bar attached on the top of this machine as well. Yeah, and also you can do a push-up as well. You can also, like, I would say you can possibly train almost every muscle part of your of your body if you just use this one machine.
Mhm. So it isn't necessary, as you said. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, that's it. I have to listen you just because you can be a trainer in the future. Right. Why do you really, I can say that you are a knowledgeable person in a particular field of gym or training, just because how can you select the information to gain some knowledge in this kind of field? Just because,
Uh,
I can say that there are lots of aspects that we can understand in each in each component that we can become a successful person as a trainer or training something, right? For example, like nutrition, however you can do gym daily, or even psychological factor, which is in training, consistent practice, or even motivation. So what is the first priority of any all of information that you have to prioritize as the first thing that you need to know? Do you understand that?
ครับ
Oh, right. Okay.
The information that you need to prioritize, and the first information that you should know first before hitting the gym is that you need to know how to train correctly, like how to perform that exercise correctly to prevent
Mhm.
from injury. Because I see lots of people when they see a motivation video from or when they are trying to like try to imitate what bodybuilders train, like to try to imitate the training program, and then they hit the gym, but they don't know exactly how to perform that kind of exercise correctly. And then the problem is that if you train it incorrectly, or if you don't know how to train it properly, so the the possibility of getting injured is going to be higher and higher. Like for example, if you do a bench press, which is the exercise that can train your muscle, like the chest muscle. The correct form is that you need to tuck your elbows in like for 45 degrees. But if you like, but if you haven't um, found the knowledge about this kind of exercise yet, you might you might extend your elbows out in 90 degrees, and that's going to be injury your shoulders, and that's dangerous. And also, secondly, I think this is the most important factor as well to build muscle, is that you need to track. You need to know how to track your nutrition, and also you need to understand about the total daily expenditure energy, like the energy, the nutrition, what kind of nutrition you should eat. Like for example, protein, carbohydrates, or fats, and you need to separate these three kinds of nutritions as and then you should track your meals every day. Like what I mean by that is you need to know how much calories you should intake per day. And also, if you have a goal to grow your muscle, you need to eat in a caloric surplus as well. Yeah. So what you need to track is that you need to track the calories that you intake more and more in your daily life to grow your muscle. Yeah. And the last thing that I want to say is I think it's quite easy for some people, but some people they really don't know about it. I don't know why, but is that it's about the categories of nutrition. What I mean by that is like the food that you eat, in that every time you eat the food, you need to look at it and just know that this food gives what's nutrient to your body. Like for example, rice gives carbohydrates, right? And then meat contains proteins, like something like this. Yeah.
So, meaning that we have to identify what is the goal, or how would we can change ourselves to be better at the first beginning, right? And then try to find out and essential information that is related to how you can, drive into a successful way, right? This all about like just because do you think it is required to hire a trainer, for example, like for some people who really want to gain some muscle or want to lose their weight? So there are a lot of common that for the personal trainers that can be assist them to help how they can develop that muscle training or in order to get a shape later on. So do you think it is important or is required to hire some trainers to do this?
Yeah, I think absolutely 100% it is required and it is necessary to hire some coach, like coach to train you, and also trainer. One thing, one of the reason, but you need to check your budget first. If you don't have a problem, if you don't have a problem with that, I recommend you, to hire a trainer. Yeah,
so meaning, is that necessary or not?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is necessary.
I see. Just because why it is necessary? Just because it provides some usefulness or even benefit to those kind of like a starter who want to train their muscle to be better. Is that right?
Yeah, it's absolutely necessary because one of the reason is that you don't need to waste your time finding lots and lots of knowledge, because like me, I would say I devoted my time, energy to find more and more knowledge and experiences.
Like comparing like you study Ielts, so meaning that you have like a fast track to know how well you can do better on the exam just because someone coach or instruct something. This is the same way for starter who want to become, training their muscle to be better. So it is required trainer or personal coach here. Is that right? Things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. But anyway, both of them are equally important. Let's say like to me, I am a teacher, right? English language teacher, and also you are a student to study for IELTS preparation course. It doesn't mean that I can teach well and then you did nothing and then it works well. Is that right? Meaning that let's say like 50 and 50 would be, but I think it is a kind of interesting issue just because like you just mentioned that it is kind of fast track, so a shortcut to understand something properly and train muscle accurately. Is that right? Just because you don't have to find out for more and more, this kind of thing that it needs a lot of passion or interest into it too. Am I correct?
ครับ
มันคือต้อง passion เหมือนกันแหละครับไอ้พวกจิมเนี่ยเพราะพี่เห็นว่าแบบความรู้มันก็เยอะแยะมันอยู่ Is that right? Lots of information, lots of knowledge.
เพราะว่าอันนี้ต้อง passion เนี่ยเพราะว่ามันเรื่องเล่นเวทครับการสร้างกล้ามพวกนี้มันแบบว่า
So meaning that passion is a key to this kind of thing, right?
ครับเพราะว่า
Do you agree that the passion would be one of the driving factors to become success among those kind of people or trainers?
Yes.
Yes.
I absolutely. Passion is the key of success in training your muscle, to grow your muscle. As soon as I know, like if you have passion, it's not going to be difficult for you to plan yourself to go to the gym today, and also you will be disciplined for 100%. But for some people, if they don't really have a passion, or if they don't really have a clear vision of getting jacked or getting shredded, like getting more muscle in the future, I think they might not be honest to themselves, like to train.
So you just mentioned that it is important for the first place that everyone have to have their own passion in order to hit the goal first. Is that right? But I do believe that when it comes to doing such a kind of like practice rehearsing or even training, to me, I would say that consistently training is a key. Do you think it is more important than passion for this kind of aspect? Can you share a bit?
Consistency and passion should be mixed together. Like you
God.
can not have only one thing, but you don't have another one. Like for example, if you have only passion, but if you don't have a consistency, success would not come up. Because if you really have a passion, but if you like still keep making excuses to not go to the gym, so you are not going to get a good result. But if you only have a consistency, but if you don't really have a passion, you might you might go to train regularly. You might go to the gym for like 5 to 6 days a week. But what will happen is that when you go to hit the gym, when you train, you will reluctantly train that, and you would not train to failure. What I mean by that is, it's going to be ineffective workout because you don't work hard enough. You just force yourself instead of telling yourself that, oh, this is what I want to do. Yeah, something like that.
See, so in conclusion is that both passion and consistency would be a key for those kind of people who want to train themselves, especially training muscle. Is that right? All right, good. Thank you so much for your sharing here. ก็คือดูมี passion ขึ้นพอเราฮิตในเรื่องของที่เราสนใจ เมื่อกี้คือแบบว่าไอจากเซนจากเสียงแล้วรู้สึกว่าเหมือนเราเบื่อกับการ speaking แล้วเหรอหรือว่ายังไงหรือว่าเหนื่อย
เมื่อวานนอนดึกครับ แล้ววันนี้แล้วบอกวันแบบออกกำลังกายไปตั้ง3 รอบ
ทำไมได้ออกกำลังกายหนักขนาดนั้นเลยเหรอหมายถึงว่าหรือว่าแบบต้องการ prove something หรือเปล่า so just because to me, I understand that to those people who regularly, training their muscle, they're gonna have like schedule that they can train in each part of their muscle. For example, like chest, and then other kind of like they can train in each day. It's different. So when it comes to hard training, what is the expectation or even a goal for it?
Absolutely. The expectation of working hard is getting a good result. It's getting more and more, like I would say, getting a good progress. Yes, that's what every man who go to the gym, or every bodybuilders, every athlete, that is their top expectation, is that making progress in every day instead of being a champion for just one day. Yeah.
I see your point here. That's it. Be a champion one day. This is a key, right? Okay, I can see your passion or motivation in training your muscle, or you want to become or changing some, let's say, physique to be attractive person. I can say it like that. But the reason behind is all about like health promotion. Am I correct? So can you explain a bit, just because I can see like lots of trend toward teenagers, especially male teenagers, they're gonna train muscle just because they want to get attention or even attractive among other people's. So they got it for sure. So to me, to those people who really takes time to practice themselves in this kind of gym, right? So I think another perspective that we have to take into the consideration together here, it's all about like the reason behind is that they want to get better health or health promotion in order to make sure that it can live longer. So can you explain for more health related to gym in what way?
I think I think in a way of preventing from obesity and diabetes. Yeah, absolutely. Diabetes is the illness that I think 60 or 70% of Thai people have and suffer, and they die from this kind of illness. The reason behind that is related to science. To science, for sure. One thing is, like, if you hit the gym, like as I said before, like previously, I said earlier that when you hit the gym, when you keep training your muscles, what do we have if you um in case of training correctly and properly, in case of eating, in case of eating enough proteins, enough nutritional everything, and if your muscle grow and grow up, your metabolic rate will increase. So that means you can burn fat easier and quicker. That means you can eat more and more, which is related to decreasing the possibility of getting fatter and fatter, compared to skinny people. Like skinny people, if we compare between people who have few muscle mass, if, like, I would say, if they are skinny and another person who is a bodybuilder, like who has lots of body mass, if we compare these two people, uh the bodybuilder or the people who have lots and lots of muscle mass, they will
Mm-hmm.
be able to lose more fat, and they will be able to eat more and more than the skinny people without
Mm-hmm.
getting fatter.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is the big reason to sustain or even like a consistent training themselves to become a better healthy. Is that right? So I can see that you have a very great and a solid motivation that you want to be one of a champion for this kind of training gym or training muscle, things like that. Do you have any goal to be like, just because I can say lots of people who have like a beautiful physique, especially male, they can go into the running of competition like physique competition, for example, like body building, things like that. Would you like to do that, or is that possible to become like that?
Yeah, it's possible to join the competition, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet that
Mm.
I'm going to join the competition or not. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, possibly I might participate that kind of competition.
If you're ready enough to do
Yeah.
that, do you think you're ready for a competition? If let's say like considering from your hard practice or even consistent practices that you've been through or you've been doing on this day during COVID-19 2 years ago already, right? I understand that you have been engaging with kind of gym practice, right? One day you become to be a beautiful physique. I mean, like a male, muscle or muscular guy, things like that. To me, would you like to become to be a trainer or like a famous person or run a business that is related to this kind of gym motivation or gym training here?
Almost all of things that you said uh are what I want to do, like, but actually, if like a lot of people say that I wouldn't be a trainer, but no, absolutely, I don't want to be a trainer, because not because actually I like teaching and training people to get a good result, to get a beautiful physique. But actually, when you are a trainer or when you do this kind of job, it's not only like the passion of training people to get a good result, but it's related to uh, making a high commission as well. You need to have a target um of how many customers you have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like so that's what I dislike, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of, yeah, that part,
Mm-hmm.
which is
I see.
yeah.
So meaning that I can say that you expect to run or to do some kind of business that is related to gym training or even how to build muscle in the future too. Am I correct? Is that right? I mean, like just because you widen perspective, not only just training or just doing just for your leisure time or serve your expectation, your passion, you're passionate into it. This is kind of thing that everyone can do it. Just because like maybe as just temporary expectation for it's not long term, right? It's just a short term. But to those people who really committed to doing something like that, I'm going to say that to me, I just start teaching English. So to me, even let's say like, for example, I can share the experience that I just run the business of a tutoring school. I never thought that I could run it by my own just because the students asked me to teach for an IELTS course during that time that I was a teacher at EP program, right? Okay, so just because I cannot even teach them at the shopping mall or like a Starbucks or things like that, just because I start teaching this kind of student first. And then I just start running on my own. When COVID-19 hit, so something changed. So meaning that we have to rely on online. I mean that for my teaching, just because I can say that for my passion, for my expertise in this kind of English language teaching, I have to continue doing that later. But I can say during this time that I have to like sit back first and try to consider which one would be the best one that I can sit for. Meaning that if I decide to do online learning, for example, like you can do like online gym training just because it's kind of a common and widespread during this time, and it is very important when it comes to staying or living in overseas. Just because let's say like in Western country, for example, USA, online businesses are common and we have to rely on this kind of thing. You can open up your YouTube channel, right? So to me, I just save every video into YouTube first. And then after that, when I'm ready, I want to hire someone and then edit a class of teaching just because I've been teaching lots of videos on YouTube, but no one see it just because it's kind of like it's not that attractive and it's too long actually, right? So to me, I think I just want to cut it out just only for 10 minutes in each lesson, just because I teach a lot and I can say that you got a lot more knowledge when I teach you. Is that right? I think like I thought you lots of intensive writing practice or even we practice a lot actually. Don't you feel like that? Yeah, right. Okay, that's why that we have to continue. Or I appreciate with your goal or setting with this kind of like motivation on gym or training things like that. And let's see where it goes. Just because we have to see the future first. That's all. สรุปก็คือไม่ได้คุยแล้วนะท็อปิกนี้แต่ก็ดีกว่าเนาะ ยังอยากคุยอยู่ไหมเนี่ยตัวนี้
ถ้าคุยเรื่องจิมถนัดเนี่ยครับ
จะแบบจะอินใช่ไหมเหมือนคุยเรื่องแพทเหมือนครั้งที่แล้วที่คุยเรื่อง education เนี่ยพี่ตอบเกือบทุกข้อเหมือนกันนะถูกไหมนะประมาณนี้นะครับ That is fine, right? Okay, moving to in the lesson here. I'm going to ask you for this question, right? Okay, so why do people from developing countries have a more positive outlook on economic growth than people from developed countries? แปลว่าอะไรอ่ะ
ตัวนะครับ
Does economic growth really improve the standard of living? หมายถึงว่าไม่เครียดอย่างนี้เหรอ Outlook แปลว่าอะไรอ่ะ Positive outlook here ขอเช็คก่อนนะครับทำไมพี่รู้สึก stuck วันนี้อยู่เข้าใจว่ายังไงครับcan you share what you
งงว่าเขาบอกว่า
understood
คนที่มาจากประเทศที่พัฒนาแล้ว
ไม่คนที่มาจากประเทศ let's say ว่า Thailand เนี่ยจะสดใสถูกป่ะจะ positive outlook ในขณะที่คนที่อย่างเช่นมาจากUK US ก็อาจจะ tough อย่างนี้แหละฮะใช่ไหม ไม่ใช่
ไม่รู้เหมือนกัน
thinking well positive rather than negative positive outlook meaning that positive thinking but I disagree to me แป๊บนึงนะพี่ขอเข้าห้องน้ำแป๊บนึงขอเบรกก่อนนะให้ยูคิดก่อนโอเคไหมOkay, I will be right back. Do you get the idea from this kind of questions? Okay, I mean, does economic growth really improve? And then explain by giving specific reasons and detail. Support your own idea here. So what is your opinion here?
ไอ้ตรงว่ามันจะพัฒนามาตรฐานการอยู่อะไรอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมครับ Okay, I will select one of the situation that happens in Thailand like right now to compare to explain more about how economic growth really improved the standard of living. Like if we date back in like 10 or 20 years ago, the economy wasn't bad like this. Like there was a economic upturn. So what happened was people had an improved standard of living. You know, the people are one of the thing that indicates that economic growth will improve the standard of people's living is that when it is the situation of economic upturn, the rate of unemployment will be lower. So that means people get employed, people have more and more jobs to do. They earn enough salaries. I would say the salary that they earn is commensurate to their workload or to their workforce that they have done in a month. Yeah. And but on the other hand, there's another situation like now, like the price of pork, yeah, it's higher, it's getting higher, or like in economy we call it inflation, which is the situation of the price of the product is high, but people don't have enough money to buy it, or I would say it's unaffordable right now. Or even eggs, or eggs or necessary products costs are higher and higher, and people don't have enough money to buy it. So that decreases the standard of living, and that decreases the comfort of people, which makes people lower their satisfaction of living.
I see. All right. Actually, I guess that this question require agree or disagree to talk or support any evidence or reasons here. That it's all about problem solving for this kind of essay. I can say that why do people from developing countries, have more positive outlook just because they don't stress, right? So meaning that we have to focus on stress-free or even stress out might be common to those people living in their developed countries, especially in the Western country. I can say, so does economic growth really improve the standard of living? To me, I can say that economic growth is one of the factors that can, determine how well that people can live in a better life, better satisfactory lifestyle, or even live happily. Is that right? I think that just because of money can do lots of things, can give an opportunity to grow too. For example, like this is kind of like we can see like it's all about like capitalism. So to those people who living in a country which is considered as a developed country, they're going to have like lots of more money than that. But in terms of how to deal with, I can say it's all about like stress-free, right? We can see like to those people who stress-free just because they don't have any information that can be stressed at all. I can say like those people who are in the middle way doesn't guarantee, in the middle income, let's say, doesn't guarantee that they're gonna get even stress-free in this case. Let's say like to those people who let's say in a developed country, they're going to have like debt more than those country who consider themselves as a developed country, right? So meaning that the population doesn't even know that, oh, this is the debt actually. For example, in Thailand, right? Things like that. So meaning that they're gonna have like stress-free just because they don't even know anything on it. But those people who really consider are thinking about how we can improve our life in a better place, in a better living condition. It's all about like we have to stress first, but stress can be manageable here. I don't think that it might be a conclusion that those people from developing countries can have a higher positive outlook than other people from developed country. But I think it's all about like how well they can understand or even acknowledge this kind of crisis or not. That's all. ปวดหัวไหมจิมดีกว่านะถ้างั้นไม่ได้ครับจิมไม่ได้ออกข้อสอบให้อยู่ ต้องไปเขียนแพลนเองนะฮะตาม business operation. Okay. Moving to next one more, right? Is okay. Countries should restrict foreign companies from opening offices and factories in order to protect local businesses. Do you agree or disagree? Okay.
ทำไมต้อง protect local business ด้วยครับ
นี่อยู่นอนไม่พอใช่ไหมhow long that you slept last night? How many hours? เราไปคุยเรื่อง sleep ดีกว่านะฮะเดี๋ยวพี่ improvise ได้อยู่แล้วนะฮะ Okay. How long that? Okay. Can I ask like how long normally you take a rest as a sleeping in each night? Actually,
Normally I should take around 8 to 10 hours to sleep because
8 to 10
yes,
hours a day. Okay, a night,
yeah,
right? Okay.
because I work hard so much, but yesterday I took only 6 or 7 hours to sleep. Like I slept at midnight yesterday.
All right. But during this time, is this kind of fine for you just because you don't have to prepare a lot to go to the school? Is that right? I mean, we can take a rest more than we used to take a rest in the previous time. Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So normally you have to take a rest at least 8 to 10. This is the conditional, I mean, conditions for those people who training their muscle, or it is necessary for you to take a rest 8 to 10 hours a day.
It is. I think it is necessary. It is necessary to take 8 to 10 hours to sleep a day for, like I would say, for maintaining my muscles. For maintaining my muscle mass, and also to recovering, like for recovering my muscles, because
Mhm.
in the scientific thing, if you like train so hard and if you track your nutrition all the time, but if you don't get enough sleep,
Mhm.
the process of muscle recovery it's not going to be I think not going to be effective.
I see. So meaning that maybe muscle that you train might not be productive at all later on. Is that right? I mean, it's not bigger than you expected. It's all about like that. Is that right? So, so meaning that a quality of sleeping is a key, or just count amount of time that you can get sleep 8 to 10 hours a day.
I think you should focus on
Hours or
hours,
quality. Oh,
but
really? It
but
doesn't mean
actually you need to focus both of them. But in some cases, for some people who work
at
for
night.
a
I
night
see.
shift,
Mhm,
yeah,
mhm.
like if they work for a night shift, the quality of sleep might be dropped. Like if they cannot sleep at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, but
Mhm.
if they have time to sleep in the morning, yeah, they can do that. But they should focus and concentrate more on hours, like on how long they did take a sleep, or I would say the um the window of sleeping is going to be changed, not
Mhm.
not like what um ordinary people like us normally sleep. Yeah.
I see. Got it. So meaning that the amount of time would be an important factor. We can say that it is possible that we can count just only amount of time, just because the range of a quality sleeping might be depend on the way that you have to have some limitations too. I mean, if those people who got restriction or even limitation that they cannot even got a quality sleeping, so it's fine for them to count just only 8 to 10 hours a day. Am I correct? That's it. See. So meaning that you have to sleep 8 to 10. So what makes you become dizzy? I mean, so can I ask like how many hours that you can sleep per night, at least for you? I mean, the least hour that you can sleep at night.
It was around like 5 hours, I think, or 6 hours.
Is that enough for you? I mean, it's okay to be active or productive for the other days?
No, it's
No,
I'm going to be very inactive if I take only 5 or 6 hours to sleep.
just because you train a lot. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so meaning that you push your your power, or you just train your muscle, meaning that it requires something that you need to take a rest. Can I ask for more questions that sleeping can build muscle? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. as I said earlier, like you should, if you want to build muscle effectively, you should focus more on the muscle recovery. Because
Mhm.
to deeply explain about this is okay. I'll be explain about the process of building muscle. So firstly, when how your muscle grows up is like when you go to the gym, you the target of every trainers or every bodybuilders when they train their customers is that what you need to focus is that you need to destroy one of the tiny, like it's a tiny cells of your muscles, which is called myofibrils, and this is
Mhm.
very tiny. You need to destroy them as much as you can, and then after that, normally when people when they finish training and in the other day they will feel like they will feel a muscle fatigue. They will feel like their muscle is sore, which is called DOMS. Yeah, it is technically called DOMS. It is a symptom of soreness on your muscle, but that's usual and that's normal. That's nothing weird because and that's a good signal as well that you have trained that particular muscle already.
Mhm.
And then this kind of symptom happens to your muscle. It's when DOMS happen. That means your muscle needs recovery. When it needs recovery, you need to sleep because when you sleep, there there is a there is a high level of growth hormone. That growth hormone is the important factor of building muscle as well because it's a good hormone that will be released when you take enough time to sleep. Like if you and also if you sleep early, the levels of growth hormone will be released so much, and that helps to build your muscle as well. And other good hormones will be released to build your muscle as well. And
Mhm.
and also when you're like and also this is important as well, like before the process of muscle building happens, or in the scientific term we call it the process of um super compensation, yeah, which is the process of building the size of your muscle. Before this process happens, your muscle should be recovered first because your body will naturally recover the muscle first and then just build it. It's impossible to build the muscle and then just recover it. So that's why sleep is the most important factor as well. It's one of the most important factors as well, because if you don't get enough sleep, your muscle wants to be effectively recovered. So that means the process of building muscle might not happen. Yep.
Mhm. I see your point here. Good. Nice to sharing. นะฮะให้เดดาพูดตามที่เราพูด alright okay I think it's like not only training, so we have to control other factors contributing to gain muscle too, right? For example, like here, sleeping, nutrition. Okay, so I have one more question. So actually to those people who really want to gain muscle, they're gonna let's say drink with a supplement, all right? For example, like whey protein. I understand that whey protein is this kind of like substances, which is very small substances that can absorb into a body easily. Is that correct? Okay. So do you think it is important to consume or even take supplement in daily routine or else?
I think according to my perspective, I think it's only necessary for some people who want to get enough protein, but they don't have enough time to eat protein. Like most you can say that most of the bodybuilders, they usually consume whey protein, and
And why? Because one of the reason is that the calorie that they should intake per day, like the calorie from protein, is high because they have lots of muscle mass. So that means they should intake high proteins. One thing that will happen is that if they don't take these supplements, is it possible? Yes, but for some people, they cannot eat lots and lots of meat just in one time. And also for some people, they might say that, oh, if you cannot eat lots of amount of food in just one time, you need to separate it into 3 or 4 meals or 6 or 7 meals. But for experts, or for someone who has an expertise about this kind of thing, they would say that if you separate lots and lots of meals, like if you have lots of meals in a day, that's not going to be good and for your health. One thing is that I would explain a little bit deeply about this, because every time, I would say, there's a hormone called insulin, which is the hormone that will be released every time you eat the food. There are two types of hormones, which are insulin and glucagon. Insulin will take the nutrients that you consume to your muscle, and there are 2 ways. There are 2 directions that insulin can go. Is insulin will go to your muscle or to go to your fat cell. Fat cell is it's a cell of building the mass, or I would say the body fat. Yeah, the body fat. You can determine this, if you keep eating lots and lots of meals, if you eat 7 or 8 meals a day, there is a higher possibility that your body will encounter this kind of phenomena, which is called the insulin resistance. So what is that? It is the phenomena, and it is the situation that the insulin cannot enter. Sometimes the insulin cannot enter the muscle mass to take these nutrients to build your muscle. So it will be reflected. It will be reflected to the fat cell. So there is only one direction that these insulin can go. It's going to be the fat. It's going to take these nutrients to go to the fat cell to just keep these nutrients as the spare energy for the future. So, or to simply say that it's the fat. So that means you get fatter. Yeah.
I see. All right. It's all about that. So meaning that if we take supplement in daily, it is suited for starter. Am I correct? Or it should be maintained for a long life?
I think for skinny people, it depends on people as well, because because there are lots of types. There are several types of whey protein. For example, for lots of skinny people, they will always buy the whey protein, which is the mass gainer. Yeah, it is called mass gainer. Why they buy this? Because mass gainer whey protein contains lots and lots of carbohydrates. It is suitable for skinny people who have to consume lots and lots of carbohydrates to have enough energy to train. But as they are skinny, they cannot eat that lot of food. They cannot devour those food just one time. Take a short time to eat lots and lots of food before training or after training. So that's why they just buy this kind of mass gainer, because for example, I had it. Yeah, I used to have this mass scanner as well. Like, you know, just 2 scoops. Yeah, you just take 30 seconds or 20 seconds to drink it to finish it, and also that's just if you intake it one time, that gives you around 1,030 1,350 calories. So that that's really high calorie. Yeah.
Mhm. I see your point here. So it depends on the type of people. If you consider yourself as a skinner, so it is important to to take supplement, especially whey protein. Am I correct? That's it. Okay, that's all about English speaking today. เป็นไงบ้างรู้สึกเหนื่อยนะ แต่จริงๆแล้วพอเราคุยเรื่องจิมนี่ดูแฮปปี้อยู่ใช่ไหมdepend นั่นเองนะครับ I think it's enough for you today. I guess that maybe we can talk tomorrow again, just because it's kind of like it's a particular topic that we have to brainstorming to each other, and you can prepare for your writing to be better here. What I want from you is just like talking and sharing some idea or opinion in particular topic here. But today I just feel like you lose some motivation to speak English. That is the reason that I switch into your interest topic that you can speak to me. Maybe this kind of like important just because I can show you how they can write essay together. Maybe we can continue studying again on tomorrow. Okay? ตามนี้นะครับบายบายครับผมขอบคุณครับ
สวัสดีครับ